Okay, so today's Friday, January 26, 2024. My name's Steven Zeiner. This is the Stronghold Digital Mining Daily Update. A while back, a buddy of mine asked me specifically, do you think Stronghold Digital Mining would be a good fit for? And then he kind of went through a couple different names. One of the names that he mentioned was HUT8. Now, HUT8 has been in the news lately, and I can't speak to the substance of the J Capital research report, but I can say that I have a tremendous amount of empathy for what Sue Ennis mentioned in her recent tweet, where she kind of described the substance of the J Capital research report as essentially being like hey, it's like a short and distort, or distort and short type of thing. You know, I'm no stranger to having to sort of deal with stuff like that. So this is an article that appeared in my local newspaper. This is back on October 22nd, 2023, and it's in reference to a Stronghold Digital Mining mine waste to energy facility called Panther Creek. I had the tremendous privilege of being able to visit Panther Creek in person on December 5th, 2023. I can attest to the fact that this is not some Hollywood prop. It's a real facility that employs real people and does real good for this community here in Pennsylvania. So the local newspaper actually printed, the following. Energy generated at the Panther Creek plant is retained by Stronghold for its crypto mining operations. None of it goes into the power grid. As I have previously shared, maybe if one were to be generous, one can call that a distortion. If one wanted to perhaps be a little bit more pointed, it's an outright fabrication. And that's a provable fabrication because Panther Creek does indeed provide at times power to the grid. So while I can't speak to the substance of this, J Capital research, so-called short and distort report, if a very reputable and very decent, I think, local newspaper can get such a critical fact wrong about Stronghold Digital Mining, I'm very open-minded to the very real possibility that whatever's in this research report may potentially have some factual inaccuracies in it. I haven't read the report. It's just my opinion. I don't know, right? I'm just saying. I have to say, the name HUT8, you may or may not know this, but I think that it's in reference, I think I heard this once, that HUT8, the name is in reference to the research facility that existed in the United Kingdom back around the time of World War II. Now, I'm not a historian, so I may not get this 100% right. Please do, fact check me, do the homework, right? But HUT8 basically did a lot of research as to, hey, how do we break these cryptographic messages that are being sent around so that, we could potentially save a lot of lives and maybe end this devastating conflict, sooner rather than later. So one of the individuals who helped lead HUT8, right, and the research taking place at that facility was a guy named Alan Turing. This guy was really, really mistreated later on in life by the UK government, and he died, I think, at a very early age, under circumstances that are beyond, I think, the scope of what we're discussing here. What is relevant, though, is that many, many years later, the UK government actually finally said, hey, the way we treated this guy and other people like him was utterly reprehensible and terrible. And there was an apology. And if I'm not mistaken, I think even the late Queen Elizabeth issued some sort of posthumous pardon, for the so-called crimes, that Alan Turing and others like him are purported to have committed. My point in sharing all that is hey, maybe there's going to be a day where J Capital Research says, hey, you know what, we got it wrong, and we want to set the record straight about HUT8. I don't know, right? But when I hear the name HUT8, I think of the research facility, and I think of Alan Turing, and I think about the things, right, that were done to him and said about him that were just not appropriate, for which much later on, sort of the record was set straight, so to speak. So, hey, listen, we're in an era in the publicly traded Bitcoin mining community where, there are going to be mergers, right? There are going to be acquisitions. There are going to be scenarios in which companies that, at least on the surface, may seem to be competitors, ultimately realize, hey, we've got more in common and we have more to gain working together than by working apart. And so you never know, right? You never know. Could HUT8 and Stronghold Digital Mining potentially, be a good fit for each other? Maybe, maybe not. I mean, that's certainly not for me on a YouTube video, right, to sort of get into the mechanics of that. But, I think it's important to sort of stand up for at least the sense that there is a lot of distortion out there. We as Stronghold Digital Mining shareholders, we're no stranger to that. So I have some degree of empathy, for what's going on over at HUT8, even though I don't really know much about the whole situation. I can't speak intelligently about it. But nonetheless, I just felt compelled to sort of stand up a little bit for HUT8, just in that context. Hey, shares of Stronghold Digital Mining closed at what, $5.82 a share, 583, 582, pretty darn good. Volume just under 1 million shares, and the price of Bitcoin as of right now, when I'm creating this broadcast, is at just under $42,000 a coin. I'll take it. Okay, my friend, let's stay positive, let's be great, and we'll see each other again next week.